Hello everyone, it's Shauna coming to you live from her craft room in Edmond, Oklahoma. Today is February 7th, 2026. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is the adorable card that we're making today, and it's called an inside outside card because it opens and it kind of turns inside out and then it pops up like an easel card. So unique, fun twist. I have to give props to Sam Calcott. I'm probably butchering her name, so I apologize. She's with Mixed Up Crafts. I think she is the one who invented this card, and it was just something that I ran across. She does bigger card sizes, so the card size that she had was a 5x7, I believe. So I had to figure out some measurements and do some tweaking, but I've figured it out. So I'm going to share it with you guys today. Let me do all the technology stuff. Let me make sure that I'm going live in the right spot and that you guys can hear me, that I'm faced the right way, I'm not sideways, all the fun stuff. So bear with me a second. Okay, I'm in the right spot. I'm faced the right way up. Can you hear me? And that you guys can. Yep, you can. Okay, I think we're good. Let me go over just a few housekeeping rules real quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I do cover it every video. There's 3 levels of creativity. We have something for everyone. There's our step-by-step kit instructions, which are great for beginners. We have 2 different kinds. There's the ones that are in the brown box. These are found at stampinup.com. They come out with 2 new ones every month. We just came out with 2 new kits that are cute. And then there are the paper pumpkin kits, which is a monthly subscription kit. If you ever have questions on either of those, let me know. Then there are the quick and easy options, which is kind of the mix and match section of our catalog. They have some card bases and envelopes that match, some ephemera packs, which are basically die cuts. You've got some paper that kind of coordinates, some stickers usually, and they all play nicely with each other, and you can just mix and match them and create however you want. So that's great for our intermediate, somebody who doesn't have a lot of supplies but still wants to be really creative. And then of course we have anything goes, creativity your own way, which is the level 3. Most of our catalog, for any of you that have been around who are advanced and don't want to follow rules and just do whatever you want to do. So speaking of the kits real quick, let me kind of backtrack. Hi Mom, how are you? The paper pumpkin, so the monthly subscription kits, the ones that are in the sweet sorbet and orangey pink colored box, the subscription, right now, the one that ends February 10th, so just here in the next couple of days. If you want this, it's Easter theme. It coordinates with the Easter Joy Sweet collection, which is the collection I'm going to be showing off in today's video. It's really, really cute. If you want it, you have to be subscribed by this Tuesday the 10th. So I don't want you to miss out if you want it. The next one is the Fluttering Garden. You have to subscribe between February 11th and through March 10th. And it's really pretty. I saw a video on it. It's got a birthday stamp. It actually comes with 2 stamp sets. There's a free stamp set in this kit. But birthday, anniversary, and something else. And I can't remember. And there's some hummingbirds that you can color. There's some floral images. It's going to be a really great kit. So both of these I recommend. They're both going to be coming to my house. Because this one won't ship until like the 12th, I won't have it in time to do it for next week's Facebook Live, so I'll probably show it off on the 21st or that weekend. I don't know if I'll do the Facebook Live on Saturday or Sunday, but because it is Easter themed, I'll probably be doing a Facebook Live using it. Not a guarantee, but that's normally kind of what happens. Product of the month. So we started a new month, which means a new product. It's paper. It's beautiful. I put it on my Facebook page yesterday, I believe. Anyway, I have posted about it this week. It's really pretty. It's got some really pretty, bright, vibrant colors. So, the products of the month that were offered in December, which is this paper, and in January, which was this wonderful stamp set, are both available. So again, if you have a $75 purchase, you can get any of those products for $5. So don't forget to add them to your cart, because that is the only way you can get those items. Trying to think, bonus days, that ended for the month of January. So you can use your bonus days and redeem your coupon codes now. So if you're turning in an order, don't forget to put in those coupon codes and use those codes and those coupon points, rewards, whatever you want to call them, before the end of the month. It ends the 28th. Okay, I have been advising a little bit about Stampin' Up! Offering more than just craft supplies. They do offer classes, virtual card classes, virtual scrapbooking classes. So they've got one scheduled for February 19th. So just, a couple weeks away. And it uses the Lovely Blossoms Suite collection, which is 167193. So you have to purchase the craft class, which is 170929. That does not come with any of the materials. So if you want to make the cards the way they do it, you also need the materials. Hope that makes sense. If you have questions, let me know. It is, again, February 19th, 2 o'clock Mountain Time. Now, you don't have to be available at that time. If you're not, you could view it later. They're going to have a Facebook group, so you'll be able to go back to that if you need to. The craft class is $25. The suite of products, I'm not sure. I'd have to check that. I haven't looked at it in a while. I'd be wrong if I even guessed. But that is the next craft class. Don't forget about our online exclusives. They came out with some new ones in January. Not a whole bunch of them because they just came out with that new mini catalog. So there was already quite a bit of product that was coming out in January. So the online exclusives were not a whole lot. But we are pre-ordering as demonstrators right now for the March online exclusives. There's a ton of them. And they are cute. Oh my goodness, guys. So cute. So don't forget to check out the online exclusives. Don't forget to check out the Last Chance products, which are the discounted clearance products. They just added a whole bunch of new ones to the website just the 1st of February. So lots of new stuff there. If there was anything Christmassy that you didn't get because you were kind of on the fence about it, it might be there. So you can shop right now from our current annual catalog. This ends the end of April. You can shop from this mini catalog that just went live in January. The Last Chance products, the online products. Again, the best place to shop is online because you see everything. Okay, that's it for the housekeeping. There's a lot to this card, so I want to get started on it. So first of all, it does use, like I mentioned, the Easter Joy Suite. So that is found in the mini catalog. It's on page 35, and it's this suite of products right here. This suite of products is wonderful. So the stamp and die set is stinkin' cute. We've got these two little Easter bunnies. This little chocolate bunny, you know, where you bite the ear off of it. The tulips, a carrot, an Easter egg, a little chick, some flowers, and some sentiment. So happy Easter. Easter's on its way. Hello spring for you. Comes with this great die. Let me pull this out kind of. So these dies, we've got some more. So this one cuts out the group of flowers right here. And then you've got a nice little bow for your Easter basket, a nice little trim piece for your Easter basket, your two bunny rabbits, your little chocolate bunny, your little chick, some grass, a carrot, an Easter egg. You've got these little flowers, and it goes with this base. So you can do these flowers a couple of different ways. It's got these little lines right here, and it cuts out these little strips. And then this basket, guys, it's a big basket, but you can take these little strips and weave them through, you know, like the old-timey wicker baskets. It makes little slits in your paper, and you can weave. Let me see if I've got one here I can show you. Here we go. You can weave these little strips of paper through your basket because it cuts these little slits. So it's really, really cute. There's that little chocolate bunny that fits in your Easter basket. So a great stamp and die set. I've been playing with it quite a bit. It also comes with this wonderful ribbon. You probably saw it on that card just a second ago, but it's this balmy blue gingham ribbon. Love it. It comes with these little embellishments called the Easter assortment. So there's little, I'm going to say lemon lolly and balmy blue circles. And then there's these really cute eggs that are gingham or plaid, whatever you want to call it, in pretty and pink. So fun embellishment. If you get the suite of products, again, if you buy it by the suite, it's a discounted price, and that suite number is 166954, and it's $92. So you get everything, and it actually comes with two different packs of paper. The main pack of paper is this one right here, and again, you get two pieces of each. It's double-sided. So it comes with this piece right here that you can cut down in little pieces, little 4x6. Make some great scenes for the front of a card. I made a slider card using this piece right here. We're doing it in our card class. I was trying to find the card. So there it is right there. So that's that piece right there. So these are great for just cutting them out, and then this one would be great with adding a few extra bunnies on it. So the back of that is this, reminds me of the 80s, kind of this checkerboard plaid with some little flowers in it. And then on the second page, you've got this great stripe. And the back of it is this little crumb cake geometrical, looks like plus signs or a little flower. It's the same print that's on this right here. This one's just in colors. The colors in this paper are the shaded spruce, the pretty and pink, peach pie, shy shamrock, which are all in colors that are fixin' to retire. There's also lemon lolly, there's crumb cake. The back of this piece is a beautiful shaded spruce flower Easter egg. I love this print. Here's some eggs. The back of that is crumb cake. This makes a great paper for the basket because it kind of has a weave look to itself. So if you don't want to weave in and out the little strips, you can just use this piece of paper. It's great for the baskets. Another one that is great for the baskets, and it was on the the clearance or last chance list, was the, give me just a second, I'm taking a small detour. It's this pack of paper right here, and it's got some basket textures. I think this is called woven textures, maybe. I was trying to find the piece that, here we go. This is woven textures, and it's item number, see if I can pull that out far enough so I can read it, 165560. I know that's upside down. But this woven textures, if it's still on the last chance or the clearance list, look, does that not take you back to the old baskets, the old wicker baskets? So, and I think I had grabbed this paper, gosh, a couple of months ago maybe, and it was like $5 or something. Like, it was really inexpensive. So, if you're turning in an order, don't forget to check out that clearance list. Here's another one with some eggs and some daffodils, some other little flowers, some tulips. The back of this is a really pretty plaid. You can tell if I'm showing you paper that I've already cut into, that means I've already used all of the first one, and now this is the last bit of it that I have. So which one is my favorite piece? It's this one right here. Again, just a lot of cute flowers in the pretty colors, and I love the back side of this. This is so cute. It's in the balmy blue, and it's got some flowers and some rabbits, some little Easter eggs, some polka dots. I love this. I think if I had a nursery, if I had a little baby and needed a nursery, I would have this as wallpaper. Love, love, love. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but this is specialty paper. It does have some foiling going on. In saying that, you can probably tell this paper does not lay flat. That's the one downside of this. It's not horrible, but I do want to bring that to your attention. It is a little bit more of a pain to use. You just need to make sure that you get your adhesive all the way up to the edge. And I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on that while we're putting together today's card. I have had this laying underneath a printer. I've had it laying underneath some bookshelf stuff that I have. I cannot get this stuff to flatten out for nothing. So I've tried, but if you don't get the adhesive all the way around to the edge of your paper is going to lift. Your designer series paper is going to lift off of your cardstock. The second set of paper that comes in this suite is this right here. There's only 3 pieces. There's 2 of each piece. And it's got the same cupping issue because it's the same. It's like a laminated paper almost. It's unlike any paper that we've ever had before. So this is kind of like a cheetah print or a leopard print. Here's a really pretty pink, silvery, pretty and pink paper. Now this paper right here is not double-sided. So again, you get 2 pieces of each, and there's only 3 pieces of paper, so 6 pieces total. And then you've got this really pretty diagonal striped shaded spruce. And I love these papers as well. I'll be showing those off. I've created a couple of cards with them. And let's see, do I have one of them? Nope, I'm saving it for next week because it uses the woolly, this is more than likely next weekend's Facebook Live. It's the Woolly Friends. Cutest sheeps ever, so stay tuned. But this is what we're focusing on today. So I've showed you the ribbon, I've showed you the paper, I've showed you the embellishments, I've showed you the stamp, the die. Let's move on. Okay, I've got a lot of this pre-cut because the card is different. So, and again, let me show you if you weren't on here at the very beginning. This opens up very differently. So it's called an inside out card for a reason, because instead of you opening it like this, it opens like this and flips over. And now it's an easel card. So it is definitely different. What you're going to need. This does not just take 1 piece of cardstock. It actually takes 2 pieces, and you'll have some leftover pieces. Your first piece is going to be 5.5 wide by 9 inches long, and you're going to score it at 1/2 and at 4 3/4. That's the first piece. This is going to be this piece right here. So if I put my card like this, this is that piece right here. Then this piece right here, this top piece, is 5.5 wide by 4 3/4 long. Again, scored at 1/2. Because what's going to happen is you're going to take both of these half pieces and you're going to butt them up like this and put all your little figures in there. And then this is going to basically flop over to where when you turn it, everything pops up. Hopefully that makes sense. This is the Shy Shamrock. Again, another in color that's fixing to retire. So the pieces of DSP that you need are going to be 2 of these. And these measure 4 by 5 1/4, which would normally be your standard designer series paper. You're also going to need the same measurement in basic white or whisper white. And then for your little stopper part right here for your easel to sit on, you're going to need a piece of designer series paper that's 1 by 5 1/4. And it's layered on top of, this is the peach pie, 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. You will need some scratch, whisper white. You'll need some scratch Daffodil Delight for your bunnies and your eggs and your flowers. So I've got all of those pretty much die cut, ready to go. You'll also need some whisper white scratch for your sentiments, your sayings. because this card does take a little while to put together, like I said, I've got most of it ready to go. So what we're going to do first is we're going to work on this. We're going to take this 4 3/4 by 5.5 piece that's scored at a half. And I'm also going to give you the measurements for a slimline card that works the same way later on at the end of this video. So stay tuned. So when you're doing this, the front of this is going to have your 1/2 inch score line at the bottom. So this is going to be the front of your card. And I have made myself, I've showed you guys this before I ever start cutting my cardstock, I always take some copy paper, cheap paper, and I make myself a template. And then I store these templates in a binder so that I can refer back to them. So your front piece, this piece right here that's separate, the score line is actually going to be down at the bottom when you're working on the front of it. So keep that in mind, that when we're working on the front of this card, which is this piece right here, we want this score line on the bottom. So I'm going to take my designer series paper, again, that we've cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to get my silicone mat. If you guys do not have one of these, this is definitely a need. This is a staple piece in any craft room. And the reason why, again, we're going to talk about this paper that likes to bow or cup. You need to put your adhesive all the way up to the edge. So if you have the green capped Mono Tombow glue, that's great. Just make sure that you're getting that all the way up to the edge. To me, it's going to be easier to use a tape runner because you can take this tape, and I don't know if you can see this, but I am actually going off the edge of my piece of paper. Do you see that? That's the reason why I wanted to bring in my silicone mat, because then I know that that tape has gone all the way to the edge, and then I can just come in here and just roll that tape over back on itself. And then I have ensured that I have gotten adhesive all the way up to that border. That is going to be very important on any card that you make with this paper. And I've made a lot of cards using this paper, and I will show them to you at the end of the video. So again, stay tuned. If you do not take your adhesive all the way up to the edge, your designer series paper, your pretty paper, is going to start to peel or pull off of your cardstock. And when you give your card to whoever, I mean, it's still going to be pretty, but it's going to look like you didn't use adhesive and put it all the way down. So we're going to be pulling in and out that silicone mat a lot today. We're just going to line this up, giving yourself an equal size border all the way around. Again, you want to make sure that that score line, your 1/2 inch, is down there at the bottom. Especially if you're using paper that has a up and a bottom to it. So push that down really, really well all the way around. Any adhesive that you've got kind of poking out of around the edges, you can just kind of lift off with your finger. But you want to make sure you're getting a good, where it's adhering well. Okay, so very important using this paper. Now what we're going to do is take whatever sentiment. I'm going to be honest with you, this stamp set had a Happy Easter and Easter's on its way. So I wanted, of course, the Happy Easter on the inside. The Easter on its way was a little bit too small, I felt like, for this card. So I kind of went through my stash And I found one that said hippity hoppity, Easter's on its way. And I thought it was so fitting that I could not pass it up. So I've gone ahead, I've stamped that. Now I did use the dies. These are the Nested Essentials dies to cut out my sentiment. So it has this really cool shape right here, some banners, a rectangle. Again, Nested Essentials. So that's what I've used. Just gonna put some adhesive. I will say that this is up to you. The first card I made, I used just the white. And then I thought, you know, these nestle so well into each other. I should have really used that to my advantage and layered that. So I went ahead this time on this card, and I'm going to layer that on top of just another Shy Shamrock piece that I've cut it out with the next one, the Nested Essentials. The two dies are the middle dies out of that. So not this small one, but this die right here, and then the next bigger. So the two that are in the middle, because there's 4 dies right there that nestle into each other. So it's the 2 middle ones. Again, keeping this at the bottom. We just want to make sure that we kind of get this in the middle. So I'm going to use my grid paper, line that up. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to make sure it's in the middle. You want to make sure you've got equal amount from this side to this side, and that, you know, it's pretty close to the middle. Now I've gone ahead and I have stamped and colored with my blends some Easter eggs. So let me grab those out. I'm trying to make sure I'm grabbing the right ones, because I have some Easter eggs for the inside too, and they're a little bit different. Where's my other? There it is. So when you, let me pull out the blends that I used. Again, we talked about which colors. So this is the Lemon Lolly, the Pretty in Pink, the Balmy Blue, Peach Pie. And these were just all the colors that were in the paper. There's the Shy Shamrock. I have pulled out a Petunia Pop just because it plays nicely with these colors. Again, it's one of the in colors that's going to be retiring. All these in colors came out together. We will be using a light smoky slate to color our bunnies, and a petal pink for some cheeks, and of course our Winkastella glitter pen. So color your eggs however you want. I did not do any ink blending at all. I'm going to put some adhesive on these Easter eggs. And when you use your blends, of course the back of it does show through, which again we'll talk about a little bit later in the card, because I want to show you kind of a trick. Right here it doesn't really matter because you're not seeing the back of them. So I'm just layering those. I did not use any dimensionals. You feel free, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I am going to grab some of our little dots, our embellishments that came with this, and I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and I just put a little yellow one kind of over here, a balmy blue one right here, and then a balmy blue one right here. And then we're going to take this beautiful ribbon, and I have even gone ahead, guys, and tied myself some bows so that you didn't have to wait on me on a live. Best way to adhere a bow is to use some glue dots. So I'm just going to press the center of my bow on that glue dot, pick it up with my Take Your Pick tool, And I'm going to put this one on the bottom here. Okay, so that is the front of our card. Now we're going to flip this over where the score is on the top now, and we're going to design this side. So this is where our other piece of paper comes into play. The unshiny part is the part that we're going to use face up. I know, doesn't it hurt? We're not using this. Oh, let me not put the adhesive on the wrong side. You know, I did that enough last weekend. We don't need to do that again. So again, I'm going to use my silicone mat. I'm going to take my adhesive and go right up to the edge, if not over the edge. And we're going to put some adhesive all the way around. And then I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to fold this back on itself. So that I don't have any adhesive showing. Turn it over, make sure I don't see any adhesive poking out. I think we're good. We'll line this up. Again, equal size border all the way around. And I'm going to pay extra attention. See, I've got some adhesive coming off. That's okay. That's what you want. Because you know that you've gotten it all the way around. And that's the reason why I love a good tape runner. Because you can just take your finger right around the edge and just, it balls up on you. Okay. So we've got that piece there. Again, we're going to take the Happy Easter from that stamp set. I've done it on a scratch piece of paper, Whisper White. I've cut it out with the Nested Essential Dies. And I'm going to layer that on a piece of Shy Shamrock. That's the color, that's the ink color that I also used when stamping. Just because everything coordinates, it plays so nice together. And again, I did not pop anything up. I'm just going to use some adhesive. Get this lined up on my grid paper so that I know I'm straight. Get it kind of in the middle. Got some adhesive poking out, so I'm just going to kind of push that down, roll it up. I'm going to take my two little chicks. I did take just Memento black ink and stamped it on a piece of Daffodil Delight so that I wouldn't have to color my little chickies. Now you could do it on the Whisper White and then color it with a Daffodil Delight, completely up to you. I took a little pumpkin pie and colored its beaks. Again, and you can tell, two sides to every piece of paper. I did an oopsie there, or didn't like how it stamped for some reason. So I'm going to put this little chickie over here. And this little chickie over here. And then I'm going to take these flowers that I cut out. Now I did not cut out the stems. And these are going to be the opposite of what these are. So this one I had 2 Daffodil Delights and 1 peach pie. This one I've got 2 peach pies and 1 Daffodil Delight. Because when you cut these out, it cuts out 2 flowers. You can see right here, you can use it as a tulip or as a Daffodil Delight. As a daffodil. I just layered the bigger tulip on top of the little tulip to give it some dimension, and I used a little mini dimensional. So I'm just gonna put these down here. And I'm thinking I'm gonna use a glue dot to do this just because it's easier and faster. So I'm gonna start with the middle, just because that is one that I can put right down here on this point. And then that'll let me evenly place the other two. It just lets me kind of get a better, I don't want to cover up my words there, but it lets me get kind of a better placement for these other two because I can eyeball it a little bit easier, like where the middle is. And then I have taken another piece of that ribbon, already tied it in a bow. Gonna place that on my glue dot, come in here with my take your pick tool, pick that up. Now you might not want to put on your bows until the very end. They may get in your way while you're working on the top piece, but completely up to you. I did leave these tails long so that I could come in here and cut them to whatever measurement I thought was good. Do I need to cut? Let me cut these tails off as well. Okay. So there is pretty much, oh, I need to add the, let me bring in my little embellishments again. Where did I stash them? There they are. This one I'm going to use the yellow. So I've put one down here and then one up here. You know, your whole triangle to add some visual interest. I don't know, let's go one down here instead of one up there. It doesn't really matter. Okay, now for this part. Okay, so there is some grass that comes in this die set. I'm gonna be quite honest with you, it's small. And I've used it on multiple cards that I've created. Let me grab. So like on this one, for instance, I cut out two pieces and overlapped them, but then you are left with, you know, a line. So I had to take these little Easter eggs and put those over the lines and camouflage where those pieces of grass meet. So because I have been crafting forever, I have these great border pieces that I use quite often. I've had these forever. I have no idea who they're made by. They've got no name on them at all. But I'm going to use this piece of grass. So I did not use the grass out of here, but you can. I've already cut just two of them. So this, this is actually how I cut one piece of grass, and then the top piece I just turned around and I'm going to use as the second piece of grass, because you need two pieces. These are 5 1/4 long, so they are the actual dimension of the width of the card. So I'm going to use one of these on this one. So I'm just going to take, again, pull in my silicone mat. I'm going to take a piece, my tape runner, so a piece of adhesive. You can use tear and tape if you want for this. It doesn't really matter. I would save my tear and tape because we're going to use that here in just a second. But I'm going to lay this right up against this score mark. So I do not want to go over that score mark. I do not want to affect the way that this card is going to bend and maneuver. So I'm just, as you can see, that is not imposing on that score line at all. You want to make sure you do not cover that score line. You want that score line to be able to fold and bend and move freely. So that's just butted up right against that. Beautiful bows. Thanks, Mom. I will be honest, some ribbon is easier, and I know you know this because you sew, but some ribbon is a lot easier to tie than others, and this is a really soft and smaller. I think this is only like 1/4 of an inch wide. And so it does, yeah, 1/4. It makes beautiful bows, and because the front and the back are the same pattern, it doesn't really matter if you've got it twisted and turned the right way. So this is a beautiful ribbon to work with. So I'm not going to do the other side yet. I'm still focused on this side. So we're going to kind of put this, we're going to bend it up now. So I'm going to put this other piece of grass, because it's going to go on this piece over here. It's going to go on our other piece. So I'm going to move that piece of grass kind of over to the side. We're not going to worry about that yet. We're going to work on putting our little scene up here. Now again, I'm going to show you, I left these bunnies pretty, I haven't really colored them. I did go ahead and put some Wink of Stella on the little tails. And I did go ahead and use some petal pink on the ears and put some Wink of Stella on it, just because that Wink of Stella takes a little bit to dry. So do your Wink of Stella at the end. In fact, I'm going to come back and put some Wink of Stella right here on this. I don't know if you can see on this one, that kind of sparkles. That's why it sparkles. And we'll also put some Wink of Stella on the flowers. But the only coloring I did on these bunnies, and you have, again, tons of different ways to color bunnies. Let me bring in, okay, so here's crumb cake. I stamped a bunny in crumb cake. Used some petal pink for the little cheeks. Some flirty flamingo for the ear. You can do it that way. Here I stamped it in smoky slate. And I actually just used a color lifter and colored him, and it gave him this really light pink. So I'm going to lay these kind of here in the, this is how I'm going to do this one right here. I just went around the edges in the, this is smoky slate, the light. So you can color him that way. You can color him in with the light smoky slate. Bear with me a second. Here is coloring him in with the light crumb cake. And then I used the light petal pink around his ears and his tail. And then this one, I actually stamped him on crumb cake and then went around the edge with crumb cake. This kind of reminds me of the Velveteen Rabbit look. And then this one I just stamped on crumb cake and went around the border. So that one I did all crumb cake inside. This one I just went around the border. So it is really up to you on kind of how you want your bunny to look. I think overall, this one is probably my favorite, and I don't know why, but you can get several different looks depending on how you do it. So you be the one to determine how you want to do your bunnies. I really like the look of that one too, because it's really light and soft. So again, I'm just going to take the light smoky slate and I'm going to just go around the edges. Of course, this is going to dry lighter than what I'm, putting it on as. So it looks a little dark right now and maybe a little funny, but when it dries, it won't. Ooh, I kind of went kind of far in. I don't like coloring on this silicone mat. Let me pull this off. It's kind of catching my marker. Okay. Okay. But I'm just tracing him. And that just, you know, he's a white rabbit, but white rabbits aren't really truly white. They get a little dirty. They have a little gray look to them, a little brown look to them. So, and of course I'm doing this a little bit faster just due to, you know, it being alive. So if I weren't, you know, doing this on camera on a live, I would probably take my time a little bit more. But you guys don't want to see me sit here and trace, I know. But that's how I colored our little rabbits. Okay. And then I came in here with, again, the light petal pink. And I just gave him some little cheekies. He's a little cheeky bunny rabbit. And then I told you I already did some petal pink up in his ears. Oh, I forgot to do his little nose. Let me get his little bitty nose. He's got a little pink nose. And then I went ahead and just put some Wink of Stella on his tails. Okay, now of course, when you use your blends, this is the look that you have on the back side. Now, because people are going to see this, because it's an easel card from the back, you're not going to want all of that on the back. And I've kind of left this opened so that you can see. I'll cover this up when I'm done with the video, but I wanted to let you know, if you use your ink blends, you're probably going to want to cut 2 different rabbits so that you can back these up. And what I mean by that is cut out one that's stamped and colored, and then cut out another one just with the die cut. You don't have to stamp it or anything. You just want the plain rabbit so that you can cover up that coloring on the back. Does that make sense? And you're going to do that with your flowers and your Easter eggs. Anything that's on the top of this. So however you choose to decorate yours. And I've already done it. I've already put the backs of these on the flowers and the Easter eggs. Just for time's sake, since we're at 1:53. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to go in here. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put a piece of tear tape down on this side. Trying to, there we go. So I'm going to flip this over back to the front. Put my piece of tear tape down here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a piece of tear tape on this piece. Now you can wait to do this if you want. But I have my tear tape out. So. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take your pick tool, and the easiest way to get this backing off of the tear tape is just to kind of use that needle part, the pokey part. We're going to flip this back over, and then you can do whatever you want to do. I'm going to start with my flower in the middle, and because that's sticky right there, I'm just putting it on the back of it. These bunnies face each other. So I didn't want to like put this one on this side and this one. This to me is like standoffish. So make sure if you're using 2 bunnies that you've got them facing each other. They're friendly bunnies. They like to talk and play and communicate. So we've got our bunnies there. And then I just put an egg and kind of tilted it that way. And an egg and kind of tilted it this way. I do have some Wink of Stella on my eggs, not the whole egg, just little parts. So again, up to you on how you want to do it. I'm going to take my flower, put my flower there, and then take this flower and put this flower here. And you don't want anything hanging off the edges. You want to make sure that you're staying in that 5.5 width so that you can use just a regular A2 card size envelope to mail this if you want to mail it. And then I'm going to take this piece right here, and again I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of tape on here. Tape runner, just kind of put 2 strips of it. And again, we do not want to impede on our score line, so I'm going to butt this up. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to do this differently. Okay, let's bring in this piece of paper. And again, this was a 5.5 by 9, and I scored it at a 1/2 inch and then at 4 3/4. So the way this one is going to work, this is going to be your bottom card with your stopper, and then it's going to fold up, and then this is going to attach to this. So let's go ahead and pull off our tear tape backing if I can. There it goes. The best way to line this up, because you do want to make sure that you've got these score lines lined up, is to make sure that this piece right here is sitting flush on your card and that you have the side edges. And then that should give you your score lines lined up. And then you can just push it like that. Okay. You might want to take your bone folder and just make sure that that is all stuck down. Now I'm going to take my other piece of grass and just use it to just make everything, again, I'm not impeding with that score line, I'm just butting it up, because what's going to happen is you are going to make sure that this flips over back on itself. That's what makes this card work. So if you mess that up, it's not gonna be good. This should move freely back and forth, and what makes that happen is that score line. So now your card, instead of it opening up this way, your card opens up this way. So it sits up like this. Isn't that cool? It's really a unique take on a card, an inside out card. Thank you, Sam Calcutt, and I know I'm butchering her name, on designing this. If you ever have a minute, you should go to Mixed Up Crafts and check her out. She does a lot of really cool interactive, but she does make bigger cards. So the measurements are, you kind of gotta figure out the measurements yourself. Now we're gonna bring in our last pieces of paper. We're almost done. Hang in with me. I know we're right at 2 o'clock. We've been on an hour. This is the piece that you can write on for your message. So we want to make sure we put this Whisper White piece down. Again, it's just your normal 4 by 5 1/4. It's 1/4 of an inch shorter and smaller all the way around than what your base card is. So we're going to center that. And then this piece right here is 1 by 5 1/4. Bring back in my silicone mat because once again, we're using this beautiful designer series paper. It is gorgeous. It's just whatever that glossy material is on top, it makes it a little bit heavier of a paper. It's unlike any paper we've ever had. And so it just makes it cup. And let me tell you, I've had to go back through because once I figured out that my adhesive, if I didn't get it all the way to the edge, wasn't going to hold that paper down, I kind of had to go back and glue down some corners. So just address the problem from the get-go and you won't have any issues. And then you can thank me later since I told you. This is on a piece of peach pie, 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. Again, we're just making our stopper, the little piece for your easel to rest on. And you can tell I've got a little bit of an overhang, so I'm just going to take my little paper snips and cut that off. It's just a little bitty piece. I kind of do that because I don't want to under measure, because I want to make sure it does lay on there nicely. And then you can take some more adhesive and this is just regular paper, so you don't have to go right up to the edge. We're going to put this pretty close to the bottom. Again, we want to use our grid paper, make sure we're getting a nice even border right there. This is where you would put your sentiment, your little message to your recipient. Wow, thanks Mom, I agree. I think it's a wow card. And then it's going to act as a stopper and stop your card. So when you open your card, it's going to say, hippity hoppity, Easter's on its way, or you could just use the stamp from that and put Easter's on its way. Then you're going to flip it over. It's going to say Happy Easter. Then you're going to have a spot for your message. Very fun, cute card. And don't forget, go in with some Winkastella just to jazz it up. We all like a little bit of glitter and sparkle in our life, right? It looks wet at first, but it does dry. That's just the alcohol with the glitter. And the glitter stays and the alcohol dries. In fact, if you guys ever buy these pens, just so you know, when it quits working, when it runs out of the alcohol, there is still some glitter on the bottom of the ink where it would have the alcohol at. And you can just take some rubbing alcohol and fill this back up and keep it a-going. Seriously. There is so much glitter still left in the bottom of that. Don't throw it away. Okay. And then to finally finish it off, I did bring in, even though we used these little dots, I did bring in some rhinestones because I like a little bit of bling in my life. Thanks, Mom. I think so. Where's my take your pick tool? There it is. And I did go ahead and just add a few little rhinestones up into these flowers. Just the little bitty ones. I did order some new rhinestones. I put in my order. Did you guys put in your order? I used my bonus day coupons. It saved me a lot of money. So there's an order on its way to my house. Anyway, cute, easy, fun, unique, different. I hope you guys love it. I did. As soon as I saw it, I knew I had to figure out the dimensions for a normal A2 size card. Now, in saying that, I am going to make a slimline version of this card. I haven't made it yet. I've started it. I want to use the woolly sheeps. So the stamp set that we'll be using next week. Hopefully I'll have this card completed and can show it to you on next week's video. But I'm going to use the Woolly Friends and do a slimlined version of the same card. So again, here's the back piece, and then this is going to be the front piece, and it's going to sit up like that, you know, like an easel. Now the slimline cards, I don't normally make, but they do fit in your legal sized envelopes, so your business envelopes. So very easy to mail, to find an envelope for it. Not sure what kind of paper, if I'll use the Easter paper. I'm kind of running out of it. But the measurements for the slimline are, and again, here's my, you know, beautiful paper, copy paper sample, because I don't want to use my good paper. So this front piece right here, the individual piece, is 4 by 8.5, and it's scored at a half. So there's your little 1/2 inch. And then the big side is, again, the same width, 8.5 by 7.5 long. And it has the score marks of a half and at 4, which makes this middle piece, or these sections, 3.5. So 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. So if you guys want to try to make one of these cards, I would love to see your samples. Tomorrow I will do a share your craft day. I try to do that once, either on Saturday or Sunday, depending on what day I'm doing my live. But if you'll post those, I would love to see your take on this and what you guys do. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate it. Thank you for spending the last hour with me, and I hope you have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you on next week's Facebook Live. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.